This is the story of an outdoor creator named Gaz, the mind behind the channel Grizzly Gaz. For years, he has explored some of the eeriest and most remote corners of the UK, often with his loyal dog, Fendi, by his side. His videos show the raw reality of exploring abandoned places and forgotten landscapes, embracing both the thrill and the danger that come with it. But on one particular night, Gaz and Fendi would stumble into something so unsettling that it shattered the calm of their adventure and forced them to flee for their safety. Gaz's adventure began at a reservoir where he parked his van near a place locals called the Witch's Den.
And there it is, the Witch's Den. You ready, mate? Yeah? You can hear the wind just whistling through those trees. I'm sure I just saw a light or maybe some eye shine. I hope there's no cows in there. There's always cows in there. Always bloody cows.
After he and Fendi set off into the darkness, ready to investigate the legends, the air was still, the quiet broken only by the wind, but Gaz couldn't shake the uneasy feeling that someone was watching him from just out of sight. As they neared the tree line, he thought he saw a flicker of light or the shine of eyes, but he chalked it up to the darkness playing tricks on his senses.
Oh, look at it. Is that eye shine over there then? Or is my mind playing tricks on me again? Why not do it?
Once inside the woods, the atmosphere grew heavy and oppressive. The wind whistled through the gnarled branches, and every snap of a twig put Gaz on high alert.
Cracking and stuff. Look at this, look. That's just proper creepy, that, isn't it? Oh, I'm on edge now. Definitely on edge. Look at that. Creepsville, Tennessee. Pigeon. Always pigeons and all, isn't there?
His unease intensified as he pushed deeper. The twisted trees created menacing shapes in the darkness. He felt constantly on edge, as if the woods themselves were holding their breath, until he stumbled upon unsettling signs of recent activity.
Oh, here it is, I think. We found it. Yeah, check it out. You see the 5-pointed star with bells on it hung up there. Don't think we can get in there, mate. I can't squeeze in there anyway. I'm too fat to get in there now. Getting creeped out.
He found the so-called witch's den, a small structure decorated with a 5-pointed star and bells that rattled in the wind. Nearby, he discovered freshly cut wood and signs of recent campfires, yet there was no one in sight. The discoveries were confusing and deeply unsettling. Who had been out here so recently, and where were they now?
Keep hearing stuff, not just the wind noise, but don't know, it almost I need to get out of here before a branch falls on my head. Yeah, look, that's definitely fresh and all. Look at that. So who's been in here having campfires? Can't see any evidence of a campfire, so oh, my ankle. Yeah, that wind's really picking up. That wind's really picking up now.
Gaz paused to listen to the sounds of the forest. A strange, unidentifiable noise broke the silence.
What is that noise? Can you hear it?
It sounded large, almost like a dog. He turned off his flashlight, trying to pinpoint the source. He saw nothing, but something about it felt wrong. Then suddenly, he was sure he saw eyes shining, peering at him from behind a stone wall.
Pretty sure I saw eyes shine. Right up there. On the side of that wall. It looked pretty big as well. Hold on. Where's my other torch? Alright, so it might have been whatever it was peeking round the side of that wall. It's like a T-junction there with this wall, and there's a gap between this long one here and then the one that goes along there. Well, I ain't got any tools with me. Got no knife, got no axe, got no saw. I'm sure I've just heard someone sneeze. What the fuck?
A wave of fear washed over him as he realized he was completely vulnerable, armed with nothing but his camera. Terrified, Gaz knew he had to leave immediately. He and Fendi retreated from the woods, the feeling of being watched following them all the way back to the van.
Oh, and we're back. Well, that were a bit of an escapade, wasn't it, mate? And I'm creeping round the bed. Creeping. What the f*** was that? Have I got a light here? Something just hit my window. Sounded like the window anyway. Wow, what's that? There's an half-chewed acorn there. Wonder if a bird's just dropped it or something. Conveniently on my van.
Gaz began to settle in for the night. That's when a sharp thud hit the side of his van window. Looking outside, he found a half-chewed acorn on the ground below. It could have been dropped by an animal.
Right, I can't get any signal down here, but I must have got signal as I was walking round up there. Right, I'm going to have to go and find some signal somewhere and go sort this out.
Although Gaz and Fendi were physically unharmed, the experience left a chilling mark. Who was watching him from the darkness of the witch's den? Were they just trying to scare him away, or was there something far more sinister behind it? Whatever the truth was, one thing is certain. Gaz was lucky his instincts told him to leave when they did. Todd Champion is an American YouTuber behind the channel Campin' with Champion, a channel focused on stealth camping in places most people would never think twice about avoiding. Todd doesn't claim to be an expert. He just enjoys the thrill, the freedom, and the challenge of disappearing for a night, until this trip. Because on this night, Todd's long streak of quiet, uneventful stealth camps finally came to an end. It was August 30th, 2025. The plan couldn't have been simpler. Todd found a small, hidden spot right beside the highway, tucked between a tight cluster of trees. It was the kind of place no one would notice, perfect for staying unseen. Before committing to the night, Todd left his backpack in the spot and hopped back on his scooter, circling the area to make sure no one else was nearby. He scanned the shadows, the road, the tree line, watching, waiting. When darkness finally settled in, Todd hadn't seen a single person, no movement, no signs of life. Convinced the area was clear, he returned to the campsite without concern. But he was wrong. He wasn't alone. He just didn't know it yet.
I am back in my spot. Oh my gosh. Thought I saw someone. I'm back in my spot. That same guy that I saw earlier when I went to check the dumpsters was back again. I was just trying to get some cool shots riding the scooter or whatever, and he just popped up out of nowhere. And then he started asking me he's like, do you need me to help you film or something like that? Did I want him to hold the camera or something? I was like, no, I'm good. Then he was like, where are you camping at? And I was just like, just down the road. I shouldn't even have said that much, but. And then he asked me if I wanted someone else to camp with you. What? Dude. What the crap? That was nuts.
Todd has years of experience stealth camping. So, when something feels slightly off, he laughs it off and sticks to his routine. He sets up his gear and starts cooking dinner. A bacon cheeseburger, a sweet corn soda, simple comforts in an isolated place. But as the food cooks, Todd keeps looking around. His eyes drift to the trees, the darkness beyond the firelight. Something feels wrong, like he's being watched. And before he can even finish eating, someone appears.
I'm gonna finish eating, then we'll read comments from last week's video. That guy's back. You hungry?
No.
I got a sandwich here.
I will just walk around until daylight.
Really?
I'm 5 times in my life. I've been 3 times. I mean, each time they I'm about dead and I got to go.
Yeah.
The strange man from earlier crawls directly into Todd's campsite, not walking in, crawling. This time, the encounter feels far worse. The man begins rambling, talking about all the times he's died, describing what happened to him each time. Todd's fear rises. Quietly, without drawing attention, he pulls out his knife and keeps it close, just in case.
Got any kids or anything?
I got 4 kids.
How old?
Twin boys, 13. 2 girls, 16 and 15.
I got 2 boys.
Well, don't miss the little things in life. Just them growing up, man.
Yeah.
I miss mine.
I used to be a truck driver and I quit because my kids were little. Trying to do this, maybe I can do something better, you know.
Did you someone with you to help you do it?
My wife. I've been married for 15 years. Before I met my wife, dude, I was bad. And I probably wouldn't still be around if I hadn't met my wife.
As the man keeps talking, his tone suddenly shifts. He starts asking Todd personal questions about his life, about why he's out there. Todd listens, but a heavy dread settles in his chest. Something about this man feels deeply wrong. And when the man suddenly asks to borrow Todd's phone to text his family, Todd knows his instincts were right.
That way. Or if they call. Good meeting you, brother.
With shaking hands and a twisted, hunched posture, the man types a message into the phone. He doesn't stop talking. His words spill out non-stop, disjointed and unsettling. Nearly 20 minutes pass before he finally stands up. Before leaving, he looks back at the campsite one last time, a long, disturbing glance. Then he walks away, mumbling to himself, swallowed by the darkness.
So he just left. I'm packing up my stuff and I'm getting out of here. We talked for a while. He seems like a good guy, but there's no way I'm staying here now. No way. I'll check back in once I get packed up. He came back again while I was packing up. Just showed me some little fan, rechargeable fan thing he had. It was really small. It's kind of neat. But I can see him walking down the highway now. I'm getting out of here. We'll talk more once I get somewhere I feel safe.
Todd later says there was no chance he was staying there overnight. Not after that man knew exactly where he was. And as Todd packs up his gear, the man returns one final time. This time, just to say goodbye, to show off a small, handheld fan. Todd tells the camera he actually felt bad for him. He even offered him food, but the man refused. Still, Todd keeps his knife visible, keeps it close, makes sure the man knows it's there. Thankfully, nothing happens. But the next day, Todd looks the man up online, and what he finds is deeply disturbing.
Because since that happened, I was actually able to look the guy up, and I found some drug charges from last month where he was arrested. So I'm thinking he probably had just gotten out of jail and was wandering around. He may not be completely homeless, I don't know. But he told me he had PTSD, and then sometimes he didn't know what he was doing, like he would lose control, thinking he was in war. Said he'd been banned from Walmart for having episodes in there, so it's like I couldn't, I really didn't want to be out there with him if he goes into one of these episodes. I have no idea if any of that was true or not. All I can do is take him on his word, you know?
Todd was lucky. He left before anything could happen. But this night is a reminder that stealth camping doesn't just mean hiding from the world. Sometimes it means stumbling into it. Because out there, in places meant to be empty, you never know who or what you might encounter, especially someone who isn't stable. Before we continue, if you're enjoying the video, consider subscribing. It's free and it helps the channel grow so I can keep bringing you stories like this. On August 24th, 2022, the YouTube channel Cat Soap uploaded a video that was supposed to be nothing more than a casual nighttime road trip. A few friends driving through rural Queensland, killing time, chasing a rumor. They were looking for a place said to be haunted, the kind of location that feels empty, until you realize it's too empty. They laughed, they joked. Music played in the background as headlights cut through the dark. But at some point, curiosity quietly replaced common sense. A weathered "Keep Out" sign flashed past their windshield, ignored, and just like that, they turned onto a narrow dirt path.
Okay, this is it.
Is this it here?
Look, it literally looks like someone's driveway. Is that not a number? Like,
Private, keep out.
are you kidding me?
I don't know. Is that private, keep out on the right?
I don't know. Let's just do it. No, this feels like that time that Alice and I just fully drove up someone's driveway out in the country because we didn't realize it was a driveway. No, we've done it. We have. We've done it. We
How
have.
do I turn round?
That's a house up there, ain't it?
It said this is
No.
where I needed to turn though.
Those are house lights up there. That's a horse paddock fence over there. We are on someone's property. I think we need to go out the front and wait for them and make them be the sacrificial lammies.
Again.
It didn't take long for the mood to change. Through the trees ahead, faint lights flickered. Building lights, most likely. The kind that tells you you've crossed a line and wandered somewhere you don't belong. Uneasy, they turned back, but the road only grew tighter, more twisted. GPS signals drifted into nothing but static. The darkness felt heavier, swallowing the headlights before they could reach the edges of the road. This didn't feel like public land anymore. It felt fenced in, controlled, like farmland where outsiders aren't welcome. They debated whether to keep moving or wait for the others to catch up. The laughter continued, but it was thinner now, forced. Beneath it, something else had started to creep in, a quiet, growing tension they couldn't quite explain. Eventually, they parked, deciding to wait inside the car until the rest of the group arrived. Once everyone regrouped, they grabbed their flashlights and stepped into the forest. The trees closed in immediately. The air was dead still. Even their footsteps sounded wrong, dull and swallowed by the ground. They moved deeper until they reached what they'd come for, a derailed train, long abandoned, its rusted metal frame half buried in the earth, like a corpse left to decay. The longer they stayed, the stranger it felt. Then they noticed it, a weathered sign nearly hidden by vines, a warning. This area sat near the site of the Camp Mountain rail tragedy, a disaster that claimed many lives. And just as they turned to leave, something changed. Deep in the forest, lights began to appear, faint at first, then brighter, moving slowly between the trees.
I'm just looking at that light.
It's getting brighter.
That light's getting brighter.
And it's moving.
And it's moving.
They didn't look like flashlights. The beams didn't sway the way human hands would. The group fell silent, standing perfectly still, watching, waiting for something that made sense. A vehicle, campers, a rational explanation. But the lights didn't act like headlights. They didn't behave like lanterns. They drifted wrong. Phones came out. Maps were checked. There were no nearby buildings, no farmhouses, no access roads, just dense bushland at the end of a dead-end path. And yet the lights kept moving, shifting positions, disappearing entirely, only to reappear closer than before. The forest itself felt frozen. No insects, no wind, just the soft crunch of leaves beneath their feet and the slow, pulsing glow of those pale orbs moving through the trees. Eventually, they made the decision to leave, quietly, carefully, hearts pounding as they backed away, cameras still rolling. Later, online, viewers argued over what the lights could have been. Some said insects catching reflections from the group's flashlights. Others suggested distant properties hidden by the terrain. Despite the lack of any visible infrastructure, the group left with no answers, only questions. Maybe it was something natural, maybe it wasn't. But after that night, none of them ever looked at the Queensland bush the same way again. Because sometimes the forest doesn't need to be haunted, it just needs to be watching you back. What do you think this encounter was?